our annual HSM Student Night. So next week, HSM is going to be run by y'all. We have students hosting the service, students leading worship, students leading the message, and it's going to be really powerful and fun. And so invite your friends next week. Come and support your friends who are part of it. And we'd love to see you guys there. And then also I want to tell you about the girls gathering happening this weekend. Adeline back there has been working super hard on it, and we'd love for you guys to join us. I think they're going to throw up a slide for the girls gathering, I believe, because I don't know all the information. There you go, right there. But hey, I'd love for you guys, if you're planning on going to that, sign up today. It really helps her out to know how much food to get, and it's a really cool experience. We'd love to see you guys there. Hey, but tonight we are closing out our series called How to Deal with Difficult People. If you joined us in this series so far, you know that we've been talking about a couple different, types of person that are difficult to deal with. But the focus of this series is not how can I change a difficult person from being difficult. How do I get them to change? The goal is really how do I control my response to them? How do I deal with them? How do I not let them get me frustrated? How do I not let them bother me? And so it's been a really cool series. And tonight we are blessed to be joined by two incredible people right here at Crossroads. Jacqueline and Marlon are with us tonight. That's right. And I'm gonna let them introduce themselves in a second, but before we do, I want to say this. These two people are crucial to the success of our church, and honestly, a lot of their work and stuff they do is behind scenes. So you've probably never seen most of them. You've probably never seen them on stage except for maybe once or twice, but I promise you this, if they left, services would not work. It would fall apart. I'm telling you, they are super important. And but they're married, and they're here to give us some wisdom about dating, about singleness, about relationships, and how to deal with difficult people in those seasons. Jacqueline and Marlon, tell us about yourselves. How y'all doing tonight?
Yes, we're doing great. We're super excited to be here. Thank you, Sawyer and Adeline and team, for having us. HSM is super special to us. We'll get to it in our story in just a second, but we have served in high school ministry together before. Really, really sweet. So. Yeah, before we tell you about our story, we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves. So like Sawyer said, we both work on staff here. I work on staff supporting Pastors Chuck and Craig as their executive assistant. So I get to do that. And then before that, I worked with our young adults, so a ministry that you guys might be going to very soon. Some of you seniors next year might find yourself at SIA.
Seniors in here?
Nice. Last year at high school. A big deal. But before that, the first job I ever worked here at this church was in kids ministry. And something that's really cool, Sawyer, is some of you in this room were in kids ministry 8 years ago when I was there. Raise your hand. Okay, yep, got the Ashleys right here. Rebecca, right? Oh my gosh, the Carandas, Lucas, Joanna. Oh my gosh, so fun because they were so little and now you guys are old and it's sad. But anyway, fun. Also, one thing we wanted to share when we were thinking about it, we're like, let's tell them a fun fact about what we were like when we were in high school. So when I was in high school, I was a big nerd. Are anyone in here like nerds? Like love school, love learning. I really did. Like I loved doing homework. I loved learning, loved doing that. But now as adults, love to have fun. I love going paddleboarding. We love going to new coffee shops together, traveling to new places. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, so I've been on staff here for almost 7 years. I work on the production side of things, so I mainly do audio here with the soundboard and everything. But yeah, I mean, one fun fact about myself, okay, this is going to be so random, but From high school, yeah. So have you guys seen the movie Mean Girls? I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. So you know how there's like different tables and there's like different cliques on those tables? So in high school, I was part of the Asian table, and we had actually a long table of like different Asians ranging from 9th to 12th grade, and we just like welcome everyone, and it was just, I don't know, it was like the best part of high school for me, like those last 4 years. But yeah, I mean, fun fact about me too is just like I love watching tech videos on YouTube. I love watching like vlogs as well, like almost every day, and like and this is like totally random. I love watching ASMR videos of people eating food.
Okay, is anyone with Marlon though? Nobody?
Anyone like the food ASMR videos?
Oh, we got one hand. 2 hands.
I don't know, like something about it, like when I hear it, like my mouth gets watery, and then I'm like, okay, I get hungry, and I'm like, okay, I want that In-N-Out burger, or I want that Chipotle.
Okay, and they're not weird videos. It's just people trying different foods.
Yeah, they're like
you know.
reviewing the food, but
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
make it look so good.
I love like cooking videos. I love like food reviews, but I will skip the part of them eating because I hate the sound of people eating. It's like my biggest pet peeve, so I can't relate to that. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about y'all's story. How long have y'all been
Yes.
together? When it comes to dating, like everyone's got a different story. I feel like I've got so many different. I hear so many different stories. How we met. Now a lot of people meet online. A lot of people it's like sliding in DMs. It's in school. It's in church. How did you guys meet? How did y'all start dating? How long y'all been married? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so we met here at Crossroads. Marlon had been coming to Crossroads since like 2011, and then I started coming here in 2015. And when Marlon first came, he started serving on the worship team. So he plays bass guitar, much like Micah. Micah played bass tonight.
Oh yeah, Micah sounded so good tonight too.
Yeah, so he played bass guitar, and then I started serving, and I started singing on worship. That was the first place that I started volunteering. So that's how we met. We met volunteering on the same team, and one of the services that we actually served at, the first ones that we ever did, was in this room for our high school ministry, and that was really cool. So we met and did that, but when I got here, Marlon was like part of the cool group. Like I was new, he had been here. I know someone here mentioned like plastics, and it definitely wasn't plastics from Mean Girls, but like cool. Like, you know, when you show up somewhere, you're like, okay, that person like has influence, you know, and I showed up and I was like, oh, I'm new here. He would probably never like me. So even though I think he's cool, I just probably don't have a chance with him. So that's like what I started off thinking. But as we started serving together, because we would serve like 2 or 3 nights a week together, like in kids ministry, like on Sundays or at HSM or at JHM. We just had different opportunities. So we ended up hanging out a lot together, and we did that in group settings a lot, because a lot of times, like you guys here at HSM, I don't know where you guys go like after service is over, but like we were part of SIA at that time, and when we would go to SIA, we would go like to eat out every single week. So it was In-N-Out. Back then, Corky's was open 24 hours, so we would like eat breakfast for dinner like after SIA, and then eventually Raising Cane's opened up, and that was a place that we went to too. But we would hang out and just get to know each other in a group setting, and then eventually like realized we had a lot of same interests. We were also in the same culture. Marlon mentioned Asian. We're both Filipinos. So we were like, oh, we have the same culture. That's cool. It just lots of same interests, and we both like loved Jesus, and we just had interest in each other. And then we ended up talking, and then dating, and that's like our story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Hey, so if you're single and you're like, man, I need to meet someone, volunteer. Serve.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
raise
It's
your hand
true.
Right now, if you're serving somewhere at Crossroads, if you're serving.
Nice.
All right, now keep your hands raised if you're single. No, I'm just kidding. That's not why you should serve, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marlon's got some funny stories too from when we were first like dating and interested in each other too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like all the hangs that
Bring it back in.
that we did. It's all good. Yeah, I would say just the hangs that we did, the late nights at In-N-Out. I remember one specific hang too, where it was so fun. Like someone organized a hang after SIA to watch Thor Ragnarok at Dos Lagos, and it was so funny because at that time they knew that that I liked Jacqueline and that we liked each other. So that person who organized it, I went up to them after SIA and I was just like, hey, make sure my seat is next to her. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, Marlon, I already know, duh. It was just so funny, yeah. But no, yeah, it was just like the unlimited hangs that we had, and just like people were just vetting for us because they can see how much we liked each other. Like even when we hung out like at In-N-Out, like after service, like they would always they would save 2 seats for us, like, and have us like sit there and just like to talk and like get to know each other more and all that stuff. It was the best.
Yeah, and it was like one particular night at In-N-Out where, again, they set aside 2 seats for us. Like when we were ordering, like obviously Marlon and Jack are gonna sit there and they're gonna talk and they're gonna fall in love. And we did that night. We had connected so much that I was like, okay, we gotta start texting. Like we gotta start texting. So like I have your phone number, and we were like starting to talk and like build a relationship outside of like our group friendships. And that night we ended up texting till like 3 a.m. It was like crazy.
Yeah,
and
we both had work in the morning too.
I know. It was like, so anyway, In-N-Out. That's kind of.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So y'all went from hanging out in a group setting, serving. By the way, I don't even know if y'all mentioned at this point, but that's actually one of my biggest pieces of advice that I give to people when you start finding interest in someone, like hang out with them in a group of people, see how they respond. I honestly, one of the things I look for in Jordan, I wanted to see how she responded when people irritated her. Because I was like, I don't want someone who's super dramatic and responds with anger and frustration. So like, I got to see that in a group of friends. I wanted to see how she handled all the situations that we're going through as a friend group, and y'all did that. And I love that. And then y'all went from that to texting, talking. Was there? I honestly don't know. Y'all have so many like stages. I feel like there's like talking, there's situationships, and like soft launch, hard launch. Did y'all ever have like a hard launch, or soft launch, or like that?
Oh my gosh, so we went from talking to him asking me out on a date. And then after that date is when he sat down and told me that, hey, I'm really interested in you. I really like you. I want to date you. I want to pursue you. But I'd like want to be clear, and I want to like lead out so that you know what to expect of me. When I'm dating somebody, like I'm not dating just to like have fun or to mess around. Like I'm dating because I want to get married. Like I'm not saying like, hey, I'm dating you and I'm gonna marry you, but like that's my intention, and just like not just hanging around to have a good time. So anyway, after that, we like made it official. We have our hard launch picture actually on Instagram that we want to show you.
Oh man,
Nice little kiss on me. I know, right? And my one-word caption just blessed, like so, like, hey everyone, I have a boyfriend now. So super fun.
Is that at the church?
This is at our friend's house. Okay. Yeah, they like took pictures. They took pictures of us. Super sweet.
Y'all dated for how long?
Yeah, we dated for almost 3 years, and then got engaged for 9 months. Did a 9-month engagement, and then we've been married for almost 5 years in September.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we didn't do everything perfectly. Like, we totally did, and I feel like there's so much that we learned in dating, like, about each other that we had to work on, that we still work on, like, being married today. So, like, that's something that, like, I think we want you guys to know, that, like, marriage is something that is biblical. It is a covenant that you make with someone before the Lord, like, but it also doesn't, like, fix all of your problems. So if, like, you're dating someone and you have all these problems, like, getting married just, like, isn't the solution. So there, again, we're not perfect. We don't claim to be perfect. There are things we work through, and we're going to talk about some of that tonight.
I love that. And guys, so the reason we wanted Jacqueline and Marlon here tonight is because we're in this series, How to Deal with Difficult People. This can be a frustrating part of life, a difficult part of life, whether it's you're single and you don't want to be single, or maybe you're in a relationship, you're like, I should be in this relationship, but I don't know how to get out of it. Maybe you're having arguments with your boyfriend, your girlfriend. It's exes, it's friends, it's drama. There's so much stuff in it. We wanted them to kind of come in and give us a perspective and share some wisdom, and I'll tune in as well. But I want to hit on something she just said right there, which is really important, is that marriage doesn't automatically fix your problems, and I want to hit on that. Dating doesn't automatically fix your problems. A boyfriend or girlfriend is not going to automatically fix your problems. If you feel like, man, I'm just miserable right now, I need a girlfriend, or I need a boyfriend, everything will be fine. You're going to still be miserable, but now with another person in your life. And it's not going to always fix your problems. In fact, whenever I officiate a wedding, I talk about how this is not something that completes you two. It's not just the next step relationship. This is two complete people in the Lord becoming one. So it's really important, and that's so true then, is they found their identity, their value, their completion in the Lord, and then marriage is just a part of that, and that's really cool. So I want to ask y'all tonight, because we're not going to spend all night talking about marriage. We'll talk about it a little bit, but we're talking to high school students. So most of them are not married. I don't think anyone's married in here, and if you are, very young to be married, but okay, love to hear the story. Most of them probably won't be married in the next couple years or so, but probably most of us, that's a goal. And in the season leading up to it, there's a lot of stuff that is difficult. Maybe it's a person that's difficult, a breakup, or just a season. I know you guys, we met before and talked a little bit. Jacqueline, in high school, I think you weren't allowed to date.
No,
right?
I was not. My parents were really strict.
You were not allowed to date. I was similar. My parents didn't want me to date until I was 16, so at least I could date once I was 16. And then, Marlon, you talked about how you went through a pretty long season of singleness.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you guys to share in both of those seasons. Jacqueline, as you're like, I'm not allowed to date. What was frustrating? What was difficult? And then Marlon, same thing, as you're going through this long season of singleness. What was difficult about it? How did y'all handle those frustrating seasons? And I would love for y'all to hear, think about what season are you in? And how does this relate? Even if it's not the exact same situation, think about, okay, I can learn some things from what they're going to say.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Like before finding Jacqueline, I was single for a long time. I think almost 7 years I was single before I met her. I had a girlfriend in high school, and then we broke up. And then after that, I really didn't pursue anyone. And it was like that for a while. And then obviously, when I started going here, like I would have my good days and I would have my bad days. I would see my close friends get into relationships, and I would just be like over in the corner and just be like, okay, when is it my turn? Like, God, like I've been single for a while. How come they get to get in relationships and like I can't get into one? And I don't know. It was a good season for me. Obviously, I knew that God was He had this perfect person for me. I knew that I didn't want to settle for just any girl. Like when I was serving, I didn't want to just settle like, oh, this next girl is coming. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go approach her. Like that wasn't my mindset, and it could be so frustrating because it's like, yeah, you wanna go ahead and take things in your own hands, but like I felt like no, like I felt like God wanted me to like, okay, pump the brakes, hold on, let's just wait. Although it was frustrating seeing people, my friends, get into relationships, I was, guys, it was like I was in a lot of prayer. Like I remembered for when we did the 40-day fast here, it was my fast every year of like finding the right person and having God just lead my life in that way. And I didn't want to just settle for any girl that would just come through the door. Like I knew God was gonna have that person, and I think it just took a lot of trust. Yeah, a lot of trust, a lot of prayer.
Awesome,
yeah, because it's like, guys, if you start feeling desperate, if you like do desperate things, you're gonna end up finding that wrong person, and all these red flags will come up because you guys just want to get in a relationship right away. Yeah,
You like overlook it.
Yeah,
if
you
you're
just
like,
overlook
I just
it.
want to be in a relationship. And so that's not something that you did. I know that you just shared that you had frustrating moments too, but you said that there were good, like it was mostly good though, because you were like focused on your relationship with the Lord, you were focused on serving, but
Yeah.
like you did have your moments where you're like, when is it my turn? Yeah.
For sure. And I think most people can relate to that for sure. And difficult to, you mentioned seeing other friends get in relationships like, well, when's my turn? But I really love what you said about not settling, right? And that's biblical, by the way. Solomon writes about it. David writes about it. I think Solomon even puts it, it's like, it's better to live on the roof in the sun than to put up with the wrong person. He uses different wording, but I would rather be single for my whole life than be married to the wrong person, honestly. And I know that sounds,
True.
You're like, no, I'd rather just get married. I'm telling you, it's such a big, you're literally committing your life to this person, and it's worth being patient. It's worth not settling. And honestly, I love y'all, but I hear so many times y'all talk about, I want this in a person and this and this and this, and then you just drop all of that when the first attractive person winks at you. And it's like, I think you can be a little bit flexible with what you're looking for, but don't settle. Don't settle for someone that in your mind is like, I want something better than this. I want a better man in my life. I want someone who loves the Lord, and this person doesn't. Yeah. Don't settle. Be patient. It can be frustrating, but then it's also can be a blessing. I love that you said that. Like sometimes singleness is a blessing. And so if you are in a season of singleness, don't waste it. Do stuff right now in a season of singleness to better yourself and not just waste it. Yeah. Jacqueline, what about you? Anything that you'd agree with or expand on?
I mean, it really was a long time to be single. So I even think about that. And that was a long time for you to like stay faithful to the Lord and commit to prayer and fasting, especially when the church fasts together. But for me, you mentioned that I had shared with you that I wasn't allowed to date in high school. So that was like a frustrating thing for me because I'm the firstborn daughter. So my parents were like, okay, we don't want to mess up our first kids. We're just giving them all the rules. So you can't date while you're in high school. And that was hard for me because I, like you said, I saw all my friends getting into relationships, but I like knew that I couldn't, and I didn't like want to dishonor my parents. So I was like, okay, even though I want this thing, I also don't want to dishonor my parents. I know that you guys talked about that a little bit over the last couple of weeks. So I love my parents. I value my relationship with them, and I didn't want to like become a sneaky person just so I could, be in a relationship for, I don't know, maybe it wasn't going to last very long. But anyway, I finished high school, and then they're like, you can date when you're in college. So I get to college. I'm like, great, okay. But in college, I didn't like really find anybody in the first couple of years. But it was my last year of college that I met somebody who was not Marlon. So whatever. We're gonna get to it. There's a reason why I'm sharing this.
What the
He
heck?
already knows. It's not like it's a secret from
I'm
Marlon.
just kidding.
It's not like it's a secret. But there's a point to why I'm saying this. So I met this person. He was like a worship leader at another church. I was already going to Crossroads. I was putting my roots down here, and I didn't really know Marlon very well yet. But I met this person, and we started dating, and like it was fun. I was like, seems like he loves Jesus. He leads worship at his church. He's inviting me to be part of his friend group, and like we dated for like 3 months. And at the like 3-month mark is when he like stopped texting me, like totally like ghosted me, stopped inviting me to hang out. It was like a 180. Like I don't know what happened, and he ended up breaking up with me, and it was heartbreaking. Like I know that some of you might have gone through a breakup before or going through a breakup now. It's really difficult, especially when at that time in my life I was like, oh, this person's endgame. Like this is the person who I'm gonna end up with. I'm gonna marry this person. He loves Jesus, whatever. And so I was like, I had like a moment where I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. This really stinks. Like I really don't like that I'm in this position. But I tell this story because I 100% believe that the Lord was protecting me from that relationship, steering me away, closing that door so that I would be able to meet Marlon.
That's
and
awesome.
that we would be able to start dating, and so we'd be able to get into a relationship. But anyway, all that to say, that breakup I felt at that point was the end of the world, but it was not. And so that's just something
good.
I want to encourage you guys, because that was like hard for me at that time.
That's so good. I love that. Yeah. What else did you learn in that season? Or what was frustrating? What was tough? What was difficult? And how did y'all navigate that relationship when you weren't dating and now you're kind of starting to? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So another rule that my parents gave me was a curfew. How many of you in here have a curfew?
Yeah, for sure.
No one wants to raise their hands.
Mine was 10 p.m. when I first started dating. Yeah.
How did you feel about the 10 p.m.?
I got it. I was like, I get
you're
it.
fine.
Yeah. But I think my senior year, it was midnight.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's generous.
Yeah, but
That's in high
also,
school.
also when I was a senior, it was because I was just hanging out with like my guy friends, and
Okay.
like we were, yeah.
Okay.
But it was when I had a girlfriend that my parents were like, yeah, it's 10 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
My parents, and this was like, again, I wasn't in high school when I started dating Marlon. Like I had finished my last year of college, I'd graduated. They gave me a curfew of 9 p.m.
Yeah. It's pretty strict. That's pretty strict.
Yeah, it was so
That's
early.
really strict.
That's HSM literally
So
ends at
early.
9.
Right? We couldn't even go to HSM.
Yeah.
We have to go home right after. And I
Yeah.
was like 22 at the time already. So it felt like, how are my parents giving me a 9 p.m. curfew? So anyway, that was frustrating, but that was like, and Marlon was working at the time, and he got off work at like 5 or 6 p.m. So if we were going out on a date, we had this much time to spend with one another. And that was frustrating while we were dating. And I was like, okay, my parents are giving me this guideline. And again, I love them. I want to honor them. I value them. But I also want to have the freedom to get to know Marlon. So one thing that we kind of figured out with my parents was like, okay, the way that you guys can hang out longer than 9 is if Marlon comes over to the house, hangs out with us so that we can get to know him, because clearly you're really interested in him. He's going to be in your life for a long time. We want to get to know him. So that was something where we would get used to him coming over. We would have dinner. We'd watch movies together. And so that was one where I was like, okay, I can still honor my parents and still get to know Marlon at the same time. But that was hard to navigate at first.
Yeah, for sure. That's difficult. I love that you honored your parents so much. And you guys both mentioned y'all had some form of a relationship or something like that previously. And one thing I won't hit on this too much, but since we're talking about difficult people, exes and breakups are a really difficult thing. And not everyone will go through that, but a lot of us will. And I went through a couple. And one thing I'll encourage you with that is this. Be careful how you treat your ex. I'm not telling you you don't have to be best friends with them. Guard your heart. Guard their heart. So don't, break up with them and then keep playing games with them and stuff like that. But then also don't trash them. Don't trash their name. Protect their name. Honor their name. Just treat them with respect. They're still, even though y'all broke up, and however nasty of a breakup it was, they're still a brother or a sister in Christ. And so treat them well. talk about them well. I think that's really big. And then also, like, although it's sad, like Jacqueline, you said, is like, okay, that didn't work out. Lord, what's your plan then? And like, I'm so thankful. Again, some of those breakups were tough, but it's like, I'm so thankful that it led to now my wife. And so just be careful about that. And that's just a small point that I'd make. But as you guys were starting to date, what were the things that you were navigating of like, is this the person that I want to date? Why this person? Why did you choose Marlon besides the fact that he was cool and y'all related to each other and same thing? Like, what were you guys looking for? And like, okay, this is the person that I do want to date, or this is the person I don't want to date. How did y'all navigate those things?
Yeah, and those are difficult questions to answer when you're like, okay, that person seems cool. I kind of like them. Would I want to date them? So I feel like that in itself is a difficult thing to navigate and to make a decision on. And I think it would have made it difficult for Marlon and I to be like, do we like each other? Are we interested? Do we like each other? But because we had hung out in group settings so much, because we had volunteered together, like you said about Jordan and you like getting to see her and how she treats other people, we got to see that before we ever went on a date alone. Like it was like, I already knew Marlon's character. I already knew that like we wanted to go from talking to dating and then eventually get engaged and then get married. I feel like in the like you're figuring out if you want to date someone, like there's a lot of games that can be played. And that just wasn't the case because we knew we were interested. So we weren't asking like, does he like me? Does she like me? Should I wait 3 hours to text him back so that he doesn't think that I'm so eager, I'm so interested in him, and then that's gonna like make him not like me anymore. There weren't any games and there wasn't drama. And I feel like that made it easier for us when it could have been really difficult.
Because you prioritize just getting to know each other as a friend first.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Even though it sounds like y'all already knew, y'all liked each other.
Yeah.
It was still like, let's get to know each other first, and then we can move on to the
Yes.
dating period. That's cool. That's really good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned earlier, like, he prioritized being clear with me. So really on our second date, like this, well, actually, let me tell you about our first date really quick, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Again, he got off work and he worked at CVS Pharmacy as like a pharmacy tech. So he's in his scrubs. He comes to pick me up from my house. We go to Boba for our first ever date, and that was super fun. And before, like, when he had asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to hang out, like, just us two? And in my head, okay, I was like, this is a date. This is a date. You want to hang out just us two? Because I already knew. So then we get in line at the boba place, and he looks at me, and he's like, hey, I got you. Like, as in, he's going to pay for me. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is a date, right?
Yeah.
So
I
that was
you.
very clear. Like, that was super fun. So even from that, we just, like, had so much fun together. And then on our second date is when he was like, hey, you know, I like you, I'm interested in you, I want to date you, and, you know, I want to date with the intention of getting married. So he made it super easy for me. No games, literally 0 games.
I love that. No games.
Can
is
learn
big.
from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No games. I'm a big fan of no games, no drama. Like, be friends, make it clear. Yeah, I like that. It's cool.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like, we hung out, and I'm like, okay, I like this person. And, like, guys, when you like someone, or girls, when you like someone, just don't make it weird. Just be clear, be straightforward, and just have fun. Dating is supposed to be fun, and the best way to date too is just hang out. We said it earlier, is in group settings,
Right.
because when you hang out with a big group, you get to see how she is with her friends, and they get to see how you are with your friends, and like they get to see like how you interact. So, and like the one big takeaway from that is there's no pressure. And when you guys are hanging out in a group, like, you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to entertain this person like every second. Are they like, do they like me? Like, is this funny? But like, no, if you're in a group setting, there's no pressure at all. You're just like having fun, and you're just interacting, and you guys already know that you like each other. So there's like no fear in that. Just be like, cool, we're hanging out, and it's like no pressure, and it's just fun that way. And I feel like, I mean, when I knew that, I was like, okay, I know Jacqueline can be my person. Like, these lists, like, it'll probably pop up on a slide, but these questions came up. Like, I would see, like, how do they treat other people? Yeah, I would see Jacqueline at church, and she was very kind. She was kind to her parents, kind to her friends, kind to my family. And I was like, dude, that's a no-brainer. Are they the same person at church and outside of church?
That's a great one. I like that. Yeah.
Dude, that's another no-brainer. It's like, are they going to act different if their back is like turned around? Like, are they going to just be like a different person, different personality? Do I enjoy being friends with them? Yeah, me and Jacqueline have so much fun together. We laughed so much when we were dating, just like figuring each other out and just getting to know each other more. Like it was like the best times in dating and just like hanging out with our friends and going to just like group hangs. Do I respect them? Do they respect me? Perfect. Yeah, like we didn't talk bad about each other. We didn't badmouth each other
We didn't put
behind
each other down.
each other's back. Yeah, with our friends, with our family. Like I remember when I was like talking to my parents about it, I'll be like, I told my dad or both my parents, I was just like, hey, I like this girl at church, and like I showed a picture, and they were like so happy for me because they knew how long I was single, and it's like they couldn't wait to meet her, which was so awesome.
That's a good one, though, I think, to point out. I feel like if someone is putting you down and like thinks it's funny, you know, and you like get hurt and express that you're hurt, I think there's like a respect issue there.
Yep.
So I think that's important that you respect your significant other and they respect you.
I like that a lot. That's good.
Yeah. Do people I trust respect them? This brings up a good story. Back when I was working in the pharmacy, so my really good friend Priscilla went on a coffee hang with Jacqueline, but at the same time, Priscilla was texting me, letting me know like, okay, we're getting coffee right now. I'm asking her
Like
these
live
questions.
updating.
She was like giving me live updates, basically to let me know that she's not crazy. like this girl is like good for you. Like she has a good heart, and like for my close friend to see that and to hear that from her, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like our friends are like vetting for each other.
Yeah, this is another good point too, and we talked about this ahead of time also about like how do your friends feel about the person that you're dating? What is and obviously if you have friends who are like mean spirited and just not wanting to see you succeed, that's a different story. But if your friends are like, hey, this is a red flag, or this person said this and that just doesn't like align with, you know, the character of someone that I think that you should be with. So like consider your friends' opinions, your parents' opinions, Sawyer's opinion.
Listen to the people that you trust.
Yeah.
And
who
if
care
the
about
people
you.
that you trust are not
True.
worth trusting, they shouldn't be people that you trust in the first place, right? So get, parents, spiritual authority, life group leader, friends. No, they're not the final say, but it matters. Yeah.
And then, the last couple questions. Do they genuinely love Jesus? Yeah, I remember when we were dating, we would go like on our coffee hangs and we would do our quiet times together.
Yeah,
that was
that was
like,
fun.
it was so fun. And just seeing how like I can see Jesus in her, it was like
So good.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect. And then the last one, can I be myself around them? That's also a no-brainer. Like, I don't have to be like this like fake person around you. Like, see me as a cool person. I could just be like my goofy self, and I appreciated that so much.
Yeah, we didn't have to like change who we were around each
Yeah.
other. We were like fully ourselves. We're like quirky and weird and silly, but I never had to feel like I had to act a certain way around him for him to like me, and like vice versa.
Yeah, there's definitely flexibility in a relationship of like, I need to honor their likes, dislikes, and who they are, but at the same time, I'm not going to change who I am, right?
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, and then I'll move on to our last question that I really want to get to, but if you look at this list, you'll notice this is not about physical attributes. Now, that's not to say that you can't have an idea in your mind of like, I want this type of person. I want this height or this color hair or this color eyes. Like, that's okay. But here's what I see happen a lot. We actually talk about this and laugh about this. I know people that they have this type of list and then they have the physical attributes list. And their person might meet all of these things, but they will completely ignore them if they don't match. Oh, well, he's not 6'3". So he's perfect, but he's not 6'3". She is perfect, but she doesn't have blue eyes. I would rather you be flexible with the physical attributes than with this list. This is the one that matters the most. So it's okay to have a list in your mind of like, I'm looking for, this color hair or these color eyes, but that is not the most important thing at all. Would y'all agree with that?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Okay, last thing I want to ask y'all, and we'll dive into this because I want to make sure that we get to worship and head to prayer on time. But for those who are dating, or hopefully one day we're going to be in a relationship, and then all of us, if you're, like they said earlier, when you're dating, you're looking for a future spouse. I don't want to put pressure on and be like, I have to marry this person. I'm so thankful I didn't marry the girl that I dated freshman year of high school or so on and so forth. But that's the goal. As you guys are thinking about that, I want to be a relationship or I am. How do y'all handle conflict or difficult moments in a relationship? Because I know y'all love each other, you're crazy about each other, but I guarantee you there are times that, Marlon, you probably drive her crazy. And vice versa. There are probably times when you drive him crazy.
Yep.
And since we're in the series about how to deal with difficult people, how do y'all deal with moments where it's like, man, I love this person, but they are just pushing all my buttons right now. This is really difficult. How do y'all handle that conflict?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like one big takeaway is just understanding each other's differences, and that we both have different personalities, and when those personalities come out, it could be wild. And if we don't understand each other, this like brings back a story. I remember when we were dating, we wanted to hang out a lot. She wanted to see me like almost every day, and
I did, yeah.
it brings up a story. Like in the summer, we were hanging out at our parents' house, and the power goes out because it was so hot, and that means like in a hot summer, no AC. So it was so funny that I knew that at my parents' house, like the AC was working. So knowing Jacqueline, she wanted to hang out almost every day. She got so sad when I said, like, all right, then I'm going to go now. And it wasn't even 9 o'clock. It was like 7 p.m. And I was like, I'm going to go home. And then she was like, what? Why? Like, she wanted me to suffer with them. It's so funny.
I did. Like, okay, if any of you have your AC out right now, you would know, like, a little bit of what this day was, because I just wanted him to hang out, and my whole family, we were hanging out, and we were suffering together, and I was like, well, like, you're eventually going to be part of this family. You should just suffer with us. But meanwhile, at his parents' house, they had AC, and I was like, don't go home. Like, and so that was, like, also not a personality difference, but Marlon loves the AC. Like, if he could set it to 65 degrees, he would. And I grew up with, like, the AC really not being on unless, like, you needed it. So that was, like, a difference
yeah, I
we
think
had. But I had to, like, respect and honor. I'm like, yeah, this is better for you to go, even though I personally want to spend more time with you, even if it means we're suffering, it's better for you to go home.
Yeah, I feel like when I said that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go home. I'll see you tomorrow. And you're like, you got really, really sad.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm so sorry. And like, another one, too, is like for my personality, I have things like in like a particular way. I think it's just like my low grade OCD, like what I have. But I remember when we were dating as well, when I would pick her up, I have all like these like settings in my car, like set to how I want it, because it's my car. And I remember when I would pick her up, she would just move stuff around. And then when she wasn't looking, I would just go move it back. And she's all like, why did you move it back? And I was like, it has to go back that way. I have to be the last person to touch it. And she was like, what? I'm sorry. It's just the way I am. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I remember, like, I would move the air vent, and then I would look away, and then I would look back, and it was moved back to how it was. And I'm like, this is so odd. Like, I've just never, like, well, did you do that? Like, and then he was like, well, yeah, like, I have to do that. I'm like, what do you mean you have to do that?
I know.
So that was just a personality thing that I had to understand. Like you're saying, we had to understand each other's differences, be empathetic to them, and like you're saying, not change who you are, but, like, I'm understanding you, and that's how you process. Another one that I know you're going to mention is laundry.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I was going to, like, when we got married and we were folding laundry together, I noticed how she folded laundry, and it was, like, nice and quick. And for me, I don't like really folding laundry. Like, I want it to be over. But the way how I fold laundry is like, I take, like, my time, because everything has to be, like, clean folded. And I remember she was, like, watching me, and I was like, this is how I fold it. There was, like, a time where, like, I think she was, like, folding one of my shirts, and then I undid it. Like, no joke, I undid it in front of her, and I was like, oh, it has to go this way. And she was like, what the heck? It was, like, so funny. But I mean, like, all this to say, like, this, like understanding each other's differences is like having that empathy. And I mean, this brings up a verse that comes up, and it's in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3-4, and it says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others." So
that's good. And Jacqueline, I want you to answer in a second, but I want to emphasize they both mentioned empathy right there. If you don't know what empathy is, it's not just caring for other people. It's actually literally means to share their emotion. So empathy is when you're hurting, I'm hurting. When you're happy, I'm happy. And so, by the way, you should look for that in friends as well. If your friend is celebrating something, don't be bitter for them. Be happy with them. Same thing when you're in a relationship. You want to know how you can overcome some of these difficult moments. When my wife is hurting or sad or upset, I'm going to be hurting or sad or upset, even if I don't agree with it. My wife and I, our very first argument when we first got married, right away she wanted to move to the South. And I was like, no, we're staying here. And it was a big argument, but what I had to come to is like, even though I don't feel like we're called to move to the South, I'm going to hurt with her because I know that she has a desire to do something that we can't do. And so I had to hurt, and I had to affirm her and be like, I'm sorry, I know it's hard. I know you want to be in the South, but we can't. And so I think empathy is a big thing of hurting when they're hurting, understanding where they're coming from is a big thing.
Yeah. And you're talking about conflict, and I feel like learning how to handle conflict well is something that was important for us. Something that I learned very quickly in dating was that I want to address a problem right away, find a solution right away. And Marlon's like, I need time to process, I need to think, I need time to make a decision. So when we were dating, there was like one of our first big arguments. I know you're talking about yours and Jordan's. One of our first big arguments, it happened on a rainy day, and it was at my parents' house. And I was like, you can't go home until we figure out the solution to this problem. But it was getting late. And he's like, well, I have to go home. I'm not ready to talk about this. And so I was super dramatic, actually. Talk about him, no drama. I was drama on this day. So he's like, well, I got to go. And I'm like, okay. So I walk him out to his car. It's pouring rain. And I was like, okay, well, if you're not ready to talk about this right now, I'm going to sit here on the sidewalk waiting for when you come back when you're ready to talk about
that's
this.
Hilarious.
I was so dramatic.
It looked like a perfect movie scene, seriously,
know,
guys. It was like something from a movie, I don't know.
Picture it like a movie. And that was just not handling the conflict well. I was not meeting him where he was at, where he's like, let me just think about this and we'll give me some time and then we'll talk about it. So that's something that we've learned in conflict and
That's
stuff.
so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. Anything else to add?
Yeah. Martin's got one big one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Another one, a good one is like not everything has to be a big fight. Like there are big conversations and there are little conversations that don't need to be like exploded. I remember when we were hanging out at your parents' house, we were cooking a meal together, and I forgot what we were arguing about, but we were just like, we were going back and forth, and as we were like arguing, I was getting the ingredients out of the fridge, and one of them was like I needed eggs. So then I got like an egg out of the fridge, and we were arguing at the same time. And I remember I put the egg down on the counter, and we were just going at it back and forth. And
we
then
weren't like yelling.
we were yelling. We were just like
disagreeing with each other.
Disagreeing. Yeah. And then, like, no joke, like 10 or 15 seconds later, we hear like something fall on the floor, and it was like the egg that dropped. And the minute it dropped, she like said, "You dropped the egg," and I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I didn't drop it." And then I was like, pull up the Ring footage. Like her parents have like cameras everywhere in the house. So there's a camera in the kitchen, and as you can see, like we're like arguing together. You can see the egg slowly like rolling off the counter, and it like
by
drops
itself
and drops, and we like turn around and we're like. And I was like, see, it did it by itself. And then, but like that whole time, like we just ended up laughing about it.
We were just laughing. It was like it was something that could have been a big fight that ended up not being, and it was actually funny after. But I think, yeah, realizing not everything has to be a big fight. But when something does stir up some frustration, like one story that we can end on is Marlon had to have some work done on his car. And this was like when we were first married.
No.
He had to just get an oil change. And so he likes going to the dealership to get the oil change, whatever. But at the dealership, they upsell you, right? So he ended up being at the dealership all day and then comes home. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? He's like, well, they gave me a discount, whatever. We get into the car when he picks me up and lets me know, like, yeah, they did this, this, and this. And, it kind of cost a lot. And I was like, well, how much did it cost? And he said $2,000. And I was expecting like a $70 oil change, right?
And we had a cruise coming up the next week.
Yeah, we had a vacation, and that we're married, our finances are together. So we spent $2,000 of our hard-earned money that like was really hard for me to process. So instead, guys, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. Instead of getting angry, and also in the car is the worst place to get in a fight anyway. So we were in the car, and I was like, okay, this is not the best place, and I'm not gonna get angry. I literally remember like, instead of getting mad, I just covered my face and I breathed and I like started crying a little bit, but I didn't like make him pay. I wasn't like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And it reminds me of, this is a scripture we can end on, is James. In James 1:19-20, know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God.
good.
So that's something in conflict where it can be like, oh, you're riling me up. You just take a second and calm down and be able to handle conflict well, because the person that you marry is the person that you date that eventually you might marry is one of the most important decisions you can make in your life. You're going to go through loss together. You're going to go through hard things together. We have